Hi everyone, welcome back to liftandshiftdev episode, and today gonna be a short video on minimum technical abilities for full stack developer in 2021. All of these technical skills that I've seen here are super useful on the job, and all of these skills gonna help you to be a really good full stack developer in the future. So let's start with the front end technical skills. So if you work on front end, JavaScript is the must, as I put this technical skill on the top. And the second skill that you need to have a really good understanding of HTML5. I didn't put the HTML version here, but the default's gonna be version 5. And alongside with HTML, it's gonna be CSS for styling. So if you put CSS and HTML, that's already put you a really good spot as a front-end developer. Back in the old days, people would just use vanilla JavaScript, HTML, CSS to build a beautiful web page, and that's still doable today. So if you have all of these 3 JavaScript, HTML, CSS skills, and you practice every day, that's gonna make you a really good front-end developer. And besides all of that, you need to learn about the web accessibility. This is something often most developers didn't look at. And once I worked in a news company, and I didn't know much about web accessibility, and every time I put out a pull request, people would just make me to redo my PR. So that's really good learning lessons here. And also web accessibility, make the web page have a really good user experience for all varieties of people. For example, regular people like me don't really need much about things on accessibility. All I need to do is I'm able to tap through the link, or I can view the web page in the reader mode. But for the disabled people, they can't see very well, or they don't have a hand, or missing some kind of limbs. They need to use other devices like screen reader or a touch screen. Not the iPad touchscreen, but other kind of touchscreen. I forgot the name. So if you follow all the accessibility guide, it's gonna help you grow as a front-end developer even further than your peers. And also pay attention to SEO. So front-end is all about SEO. If your page is not engine search optimized, then it's never come up on Google search. Then what's the point to building a website that's never been searched by other people, right? So SEO also comes with semantic HTML as well. So if you're good at HTML and you also pay attention to semantic, then SEO can come naturally to your page. And as modern JavaScript evolve, we have other frameworks to build front-end, and I recommend these 3 frameworks or libraries: React, Vue, and Angular. Pick either one of those, and those 3 are very popular these days. I think React's a little bit more popular than the other 2, but any one of those 3 is good. Now go back to backend. So backend, you need to pick a language, and I recommend Java, Go, and Nodejs. These 3 are very popular in Australia. The last company I worked, I used Golang to build all the microservices, but in this new company, I use pretty much Node.js. And actually 5 years ago, I worked in a building company. I actually used C++ and Java, which is pretty cool. And for scripting languages, I recommend just learning Bash, and because this is probably just the most basic scripting language that everyone should know. At a little bit higher level could be Perl or Python. Golang is doable for scripting languages as well, but I recommend at least knowing Bash. Docker, is so popular these days is the way that you deploy your application. Also set up your local development as well. Docker is a must, and I strongly recommend you have a strong understanding about Docker and know how to configure Docker file, Docker compose as well. It's gonna be super useful. And have a good understanding about a REST APIs. REST API is basically the way you would do fetching data from server to your client, or doing some mutation as well. But this is just a basic form of the client server communication. If you know the REST API very well, you can easily design a good pattern for backend services. And as you evolve, you're gonna learn more about other type of communication between client to server or server to server, like gRPC, protobuf, or WebSocket. But REST API is a must, guy. And SQL, you're gonna touch database a lot on backend, even though you're not a DBA or something. But you need to know the basic skill SQL, how to create table, create index, understand a little bit about how index work, and be able to read the executable plan of your query, so you know how long the query is gonna run, and debug any other issues with SQL within your application. And when it comes to infrastructure provider, I recommend one of these three. I use AWS almost every day. So if your company use Azure or Google Cloud, that's fine as well. Those two are very popular. And most of financial companies in Australia, they use Azure. But for other type of company, they mostly use AWS in Australia. And if you have free time, I recommend you to take on some certification on one of these three cloud provider. For example, the AWS Solution Architect Associate. I got this certification, and it's really helped me to work with platform engineers within my company. And every time we will talk about those caching, Memcache, Redis, EC2, I'm being able to understand the concept and communicate with them accordingly based on the features or applications that require me to implement. And that's it, guys. This is a really short video, and I think all of these skills that I mentioned are super useful, and it's gonna take quite a bit of time to learn. But once you get there and you have a good overall understanding of all of these technical skills, you're gonna have a really awesome opportunity to grow as a developer, and maybe move on to next ladder within your company. And I hope that helps you guys, and thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.